Gaius Valerius Catullus. Catullus was born in 84 BC in Verona, Italy. He came from a socially prominent, leading equestrian family, and his father was very good friends with Julius Caesar. Catullus's familiarity with Greek suggests that he had the education of a traditional wealthy Roman. Not a lot is known about Catullus's life, and what is known comes from his own poetry. In terms of his political career, Catullus served on the staff of Gaius Memmius, commander of Bithynia, between the summers of 57 and 56 BC. He also served in the military for a little bit, but according to his poems, did not enjoy the experience at all. In 54 BC, Catullus died. Catullus was considered a new poet as he broke from traditional styles of poetry of his time. Of his 116 carminas, or poems, he has 60 short poems written in polymetrics, meaning that they're different meters. Catullus has 8 long poems that are broken up into 7 hymns and 1 mini-epic, and lastly, Catullus has 48 epigrams. His poems are also broken up into 3 different categories: love poems, invectives, and condolences. Catullus's love poems are mostly written to a woman named Lesbia. It is generally believed that Lesbia was a pseudonym for Catullus's married lover, whose real name was Claudius. The picture on the right is a picture called Catullus at Lesbia's, the woman in the back being Lesbia. Catullus's invectives are rude poems directed at people such as other lovers of Lesbia and famous politicians like Julius Caesar and Cicero. It is these poems that made Catullus the most famous, but also very hated, as the people he wrote about were not fans of him. His condolences are solemn poems, usually about death. Poem 96 comforts a friend in mourning, and poem 101 talks about the death of his brother. This is an excerpt and a translation of an excerpt of poem 101. Through many peoples and many seas have I traveled to thee, brother, and these wretched rites of death I bring a last gift, but can speak only to ashes, since fortune has taken you from me, poor brother, stolen you away from me. Take from my hands these sad gifts covered in tears, now and forever, brother, hail and farewell. This poem shows that even though Catullus can write funny and humorous things such as his invectives, he can also become very serious when need be. Catullus wrote poetry up until his death, which is how historians discovered when he died. Through his poems, we can see that Catullus values charm and attractiveness in people rather than the traditional Roman ideal of virtue that had to be proved through a military career. Catullus's position as a new poet helped to develop Augustan poetry, which was the new idea that someone could be just a poet by profession. They didn't have to be anything else. Catullus was also a model for Martial's later epigrams. Catullus was very popular in his time, but after a while his works went missing. Centuries later, in the 1300s, scrolls were found in the bottom of a basket in Italy, and on those scrolls were Catullus's poetry. His poetry became famous again, though died out in the Middle Ages, as his use of profanity and rude language was not accepted or liked by the people. But in the Renaissance, he became popular again, especially for his love poems, and his poetry has remained popular ever since.